Hello, everyone. We're coming into focus now. Welcome to Trail Talk. I'm Edie, and we're here at the Chuck Wagon Studio at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. And I am totally fogging up on my glasses right now. Allow me to adjust a little bit. Um, this is our special guest, Lyle Roggow. And Lyle is the president of the Duncan, I'm going to read his mask because I think this is funny. Duncan Area Economic Development Foundation, also known as DAEDF. If you see those letters, people call it DAEDF around here. And Lyle is going to fill us in on some really cool, exciting things. I mean, 2020, for the most part, people are like, wow, what a bummer of a year this has been. You know, it's been hard for people. It's been a struggle a lot of times, but I'm the glass half full kind of person, Lyle. So for me, I'm like, well, Trail Talk is a result of the pandemic. And, you know, we learned how to do this and how to do that. And my kids have been home, and all these good things is what I see from the a result of it. And I think that's the kind of news you're going to have for us today, too.
Exactly. I mean, it has been a unique year for us. I mean, it's not what we started off with.
Right.
But it's been a year that I think we have taken the opportunity to look within and see what we need to do to further our cause within the community as well. And, you know, as you kind of go back and you start the 2020 timeframe, you know, we were having some downturns anyway within the oil and gas business. So for us, I mean, it allowed us to maybe reflect, but at the same time, what we have found is some businesses have done exceedingly well, you know, through the process.
Move forward. Okay. I'm getting direction from Scott over here. He's good at hand signals. He wanted us to move forward a little bit. So, okay, move up here a little bit too, Lyle. There we go. Now we're okay. I don't know what you want.
He wants us to be a little bit more like this.
Like this.
We're trying to get Lyle facing us.
Okay, all right, there we go. Okay, sorry, y'all. All right. Yeah, so go ahead. Sorry.
Well, and so with that, I mean, we've seen businesses who have struggled through the year, and we've seen some come up with new ideas. And so I think that was the big thing. But, you know, what we had to look at first is how do we help our local businesses? And everything that we have noticed this year has been a result of taking care of what we already have. As an example, you know, we had Platinum Group Metals, which was reformulated into from a DR2, is that what they used to be. Now they're PGM, and they have found a market niche, and the way that they redesigned how they market their product or their service more than anything has allowed them to recover from a very, very challenging situation, and at the exact same time has allowed them to grow. And so we're working with them right now on expanding of a building. They brought in another smelter. And so it's helping those locally have been really the biggest success for us. I mean, you know, when the pandemic hit, I think all of us were really scared and still are.
Right.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. But what DAEDF began doing at that point was we said, okay, we need to help our people. And so we did some things for the food banks, you know, thinking and knowing that we had people that were unemployed.
Right.
And so we did that in April, right around Easter. Gave 3 food pantries some dollars to help the people who needed it the most. And then we trying to, because you know everybody was forced into a situation where they had to shut their doors for a little bit. We did grants up to $5,000 to help some of our businesses who were majorly impacted. So we gave out probably close to $475,000 in grants to 131 businesses in Stevens County.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Huge. That is
my
huge
goodness.
as to what we did as an organization. And what I would say is that is a result of us, managing our finances correctly, doing what sometimes what we have to do is to take care of your existing business industry. And so that has been a really, really good thing. But moving forward, you know, we started in and saying, okay, what are the other things we need to do? Well, much like what you guys have done, we redid our website.
Right.
And that was on the drawing board to begin with. We also re-looked at our RFP process, which is our request for proposals that we do. So I just finished one today.
And like
And
that would be a request from
an outside
an outside
company.
business, a company of some
Yep.
sort. Okay.
So we've done that. We completed 5 videos, which are for the benefit of the community. Some of them actually were done inside of here. So with
we are a fantastic location for videos.
We really
you
are.
guys.
So what we did was we did what we call a 360 video, and it does everything that if you were standing in here, you would see all sides of it. And we did that about a year ago, but just got to the production stage this year. So those can start to be seen on our new website, which is really, really cool. And I think we tried to redefine who we are and trying to take care of what we have.
Well, let me just
Sure.
interrupt you real quick. Define who you are. Define for the viewers who maybe aren't familiar with DAEDF. I mean, I'm hearing these amazing stories of investing in our community and helping existing businesses, but like, why are you guys here? How did DAEDF even come about? And give us a picture of who DAEDF is. So
Sure.
I think maybe we can see how you're able to do these things.
So DAEDF is Duncan Area Economic Development Foundation, as
Right.
we kind of defined that earlier.
Read on his mask
Yeah,
there.
read on my mask. And we were set up as a foundation because it gave us more latitude to do different things as an organization. The kind of in the 90s, when they were first formed in 1993, there was a group of investors in the community. I say investors, businessmen in the community
Right.
that were looking for best practices. And in that, they said, okay, we found a community in Mississippi that had the best practices. We're able to help the businesses. We're able to build buildings. We're just had a lot of different components, ability to work with grants or receive grants.
Right.
Okay. Ability to still, work and do the things. And there's only about 3 foundations in Oklahoma that are economic development foundations that form just like what we are. Others may be under the authority, under the city. The benefit that I have of not being under the city is that if we need to talk confidential about a business or a prospect, we can. Okay, we don't have to abide by certain other rules. I mean,
Right.
and
Like public information.
correct.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because sometimes that can break a deal, because all of a sudden a business that may be looking in your community may say, hey, look, no one can hear about this or know about this. And so because of that, we would like for you to be confidential. And that's your number one rule, is you have to be confidential in economic development, because you may be competing with someone else. And trust me, if somebody finds out that you are recruiting a business, other communities around you may also go after that same business.
Right.
So it does get very competitive.
Right.
The other thing that we do is we also have land that we oversee, in our business parks. We have about a little over 750 acres of property that we oversee, that either we have or that is under our watchful eye.
And that's all in the Duncan area?
All in the Duncan area. The unique thing for us is that it's in the city limits of Duncan, but we also fall into about 3 or 4 different school districts with that piece of, with our properties,
Right.
whether it be in Marlow or Comanche or Empire. So those are the school districts that surround our community. So,
Right.
and so we start off, we got a 1/2 cent sales tax passed by the community and the citizens. And these were very, very, troubling times in our community.
In the 90s?
In the 90s.
Yeah.
And so, but we figured at that point in time, we had to invest in ourselves. Okay. And we had to start moving forward. Because of that, we were able to attract, Family Dollar Distribution Center and many other businesses. The unique thing for DAEDF is we also have quite a bit of buildings. I say quite a few. We probably have 7 or 8 different buildings that we lease out to businesses. So our entire focus is on the businesses, trying to attract and grow different businesses that are here and or not here. Because what you find in our world is that you have to have buildings. Not today. I bid on a project that they need to build a building. But most of the time, what we find is businesses want to locate somewhere where there's already an existing building. And
Because they can just go in. I mean,
time.
probably there has maybe some adjustments inside the building, but as far as it just, yeah, that's a big time issue.
It is a time issue. I mean, if you're going to build a building, it takes you about a year. And so going back to Platinum Group Metals, when that was DR2, we built a shell building as a community. And then we finished out the shell. It took us about 8 months to finish the insides of it to accommodate their business model. And so that's what you need to be able to do. But you don't want to have too many buildings either. So it's kind of a key element. Then we also have our incubator too. So we work with, startup companies as well.
So, like, obviously DAEDF has been around for a long time.
25 or more years.
Right. So, these businesses that have like an idea, is it necessarily a unique business idea that gets your attention, or is it just people present their business model to you and you say, yeah, this is good. I don't think so. I mean, what does that look like? I'm sure I'm asking you kind of questions.
No. Those are good questions. So we would ask them first to do a business plan. Okay. And so what they would do is either would work with Red River Technology Center, or because we're an incubator, we actually have our own software system that they can go in and start to fill out a business plan and see if their business idea really will work.
Okay.
And so, I mean, but look, that's part of it. You've got to take these small businesses and grow them and develop it. And, like this year, we talk about COVID, a tough year for the oil and gas and energy type businesses. When it hit everybody hard. And really it took everybody. So there were no unique, businesses that were able to just hold off COVID. But we had one business that was able to, what I would consider, pivot in a huge way, and that was BK Equipment. Now they were a rental business to the oil field services, so they had all kinds of equipment. They got this idea that maybe they could retool some of their equipment and try to utilize it maybe to help spray or do something unique. And these guys, they really got with the program. They were able to develop a dry fog system that sprays a product out and is able to disinfect a room. In a room of our size here, it would probably take them about 5 minutes. And it's a dry fog. They'd set up the stations around and then they'd hit a remote button and it would spray this fog everywhere. And it would land on the surfaces. And what happens is, let's say the virus, if it hits it, there's small little particles that help bust that virus up so it cannot survive.
Right.
And so they, in about 45 days, they were able to build a unit, a prototype, took it up to OSU. And so we have been working with them. We've managed to get them a grant. We have to secure that now a little bit tighter. They had to do some extra things to get that. But those are the companies who have emerged through these very, very challenging times.
I love that. I love that story. That is another great example of this pandemic just pushing people outside the box and just letting their minds go and look at where they end up. Because regardless of what happens with people and the infection and all that virus is here.
Yes.
And so to have the ability to just transform themselves into just a whole different line of a need for that. I that's fascinating.
It is.
Wow.
So, I mean, but as they look at what their product is, and we helped them with their computer logistics system inside of it so that, it knows the size of the room, and, you plug all these things into it and it knows how long to spray that room for. And it's very, very unique, but they were able to, but it's because they had that, it's almost the same spirit that we see around us here.
Right.
Is our forefathers who settled into Oklahoma or came through on the Chisholm Trail basically had a grit about them that said we can survive.
Yes.
And they have. So now what these guys are doing with their new company is they're out spraying businesses, and that product will last, 30, 45 days, will continue to disinfect.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's very, very
That
unique.
is so cool.
But, they're also saying, okay, well, what happens when we're no longer having to do this? I mean,
Uh-huh.
what else can we do with the equipment? Well, it can spray for anything. So anything that you need outside, whether it be like a mosquito repellent or whatever,
Mhm.
can go through their system.
Nice. Wow.
So,
So those are the kinds of kind of business plans then that you help
Mhm.
people
absolutely.
take to fruition.
Mhm. Or
So-
at least have some vision. I mean, the other thing we helped here recently is when Halliburton said, hey, guess what? We're back to hiring additional people. And we
Right.
did a job fair with them and organized it. And it was much like the viewers here watching this, on the computer. Well, we actually did the exact same thing when they hired close to 150 people.
A
here this week.
virtual
job fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Virtual is kind of the tag word this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
It-
virtual.
It is, but in this situation, they'd set up some secure websites, and the interviews were done via a Zoom,
Uh-huh.
and so they were all scheduled and everything. They had a really good pool of folks. I think they're still looking for some additional people
Mhm.
to go to work there, but I think it worked exceedingly well. It really did. So, I mean, we helped them. So, I mean, and then the other thing I think was pretty cool this year is we also were one of 9 communities that got the distinction of a certified workforce excellence location. And so we're the only one in southern Oklahoma.
Very
And when I mean
good.
southern Oklahoma, I mean I-40 and south. Duncan is the only one who has accomplished that fate.
Bravo, DAEDF on
Yeah.
that.
But-
Excellent.
But that comes because of our partnership with our educational and our business community. And we've been, anybody who's followed what DAEDF has done, we've been taking teachers on tours of our manufacturing plants. We've taken students on those tours. We've helped the teachers through some training type things by being a career pathways community. The Duncan internship product is out there because of us kind of pushing a little bit there, and then the school, Duncan High School or public schools was very quick to adapt and to accept and to embrace. And I think that was a very good move on their behalf. And
So the internship program that Mrs. Hefner
correct.
does, so because we've been the beneficiary of several of her students who come here and do an internship. So that's a great program.
It really it is. And I would have to give a lot of credit to Lisa Hefner on this, because she does a great job of making sure. Now the way that they do that is that it's kind of in a reversal. It's not because you want an intern. It's asking a student, what do you want to be, when you grow up, or where do you want to go? And the student is saying, I want to be a veterinarian. I want to be a machinist. I want to be, whatever. And then she places them in those businesses that meet what the student wants. And I think one of the funniest examples of what she went through in that first year was that somebody said they always want to be a dentist. The student from their very, very beginning said, that's what I want to be.
Right.
She paired him up with a dentist, and after hearing how expensive it was to go to dental school and all the different, things about being a dentist,
Right.
and finally said, I mean, we're talking about a lifelong dream, and said, I don't know that I want to be a dentist. I said, well, how about a dental hygienist? It doesn't take as much schooling. You got those days off. And after about 3-4 weeks, the student came back and said, after all this, I don't think I'd like that either. And the truth is, I don't like my hands being in other people's mouths. So, I say that in a very funny way because, you think, okay, but here's the advantage of going through a system like what Duncan has, that what if that student went off to college? You and I as parents know how expensive college can be.
That's right.
Then they get accepted into dental school, okay, because that's what they want to become, okay, have never gone through the learning and the practice or the internship side of this, get accepted in dental school, then get through and all of a sudden feel like they're in a job career that they hate doing from day to day. And so it's really been a good platform for students to learn and be prepared for what they want to become.
Right. I mean, I was just thinking, wow, what a great eye opener at this end of college as opposed to the other end. So
Mhm.
yeah, that internship program is,
Yeah.
I'm sure that has helped a lot of kids make some good career choices.
Yeah.
So
Well, particularly when about 22 to 26% of all the high school seniors are participating in our internship program. That's a really, really good
yes.
hit, in the market. Look,
Right.
we understand our kids have got a lot of things they can do, but this is an opportunity for them to really understand what it is they want to become.
Yeah. Wow.
And then return home. And that's the other advantage is some of them have figured out that, they were always told that, that there were no jobs here. When the truth is, when they walk inside of any business, they find out there are opportunities at
Mhm.
every level,
Mhm.
that could be good for them. And so we want our kids to always know there's an opportunity right here at home.
Yeah, that's great. What I love that program so
Mhm.
much. So you guys, okay, so you help businesses with their business plans. The internship program is another thing you do. You mentioned the incubator.
Mhm.
Tell us about that just a little bit.
So we have when I first came here, that was one of the things on a strategic plan, and that we said, hey, Duncan does not have an incubator. And so that's a place for startup businesses to begin moving forward. People of all walks of life have ideas, and they just want the opportunity to sometimes to do their own thing. And so that's exactly, if you have a business or have a thought about a business, you can reach out to us. Inside the incubator, we try to do is have controlled space. So you rent an office from us. That way, you're controlling your overall cost. You're not having to go into a lot of debt to start your business, because that's what you want to avoid. And then we're able to help you through that process a little bit. And so we've had some great success stories that have come out of the incubator from businesses or individuals that were maybe laid off,
Mm-hmm.
and then wound up deciding, hey, we're going to create our own destiny, and that's exactly what they've done. Something that I can tell you, Mark Fikes with Fikes Engineering, when he was let go from Halliburton after a number of years, walked in, said, I think I have all the skills and everything else I need to start my own, and he was able to do that. Brad Todd, who had left after 30 years at Halliburton to start completion science, along with a couple of other individuals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they knew they had the knowledge, and they wanted to not just retire
Right.
in that
Right,
situation. We've had about maybe 20, 25 different businesses come through our doors. I mean, that have been part of the incubator.
Mm-hmm.
We've had more than that have come through that decided that they'd like to start a business.
Right.
And,
So how long have you had the incubator?
we got the certification in about 2009 time frame.
Okay.
2008, 2009.
Okay.
We bought a building and then turned it into a certified site for that. The original plans are to build an additional building for that would be more driven toward having all the space that most of the clients that we see have. And so it's an opportunity to grow your own, and that's what we're into.
Right. Right.
Sometimes one of the things that we've noticed too is that it's easier to take care of those individuals if you have the opportunities right here at home. They live here, they love Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Why not give them opportunities as well?
Exactly. And I mean, when you invest back into the community, it makes it, I think, when they see a foundation, a group, or whoever investing in a small startup kind of business, a larger company is going to see that as, okay, somebody here, they love this community, they want this community to thrive, they're going to be willing to invest in us too, help, and there's a partnership that can form.
Years ago, I think economic developers typically tried to chase big business. I mean, we're talking about, because it takes the same amount of time to work with a 5 or 10 man company as it does a 100 or 500 man company.
Right.
But you know what? You need a diversification of all sizes of businesses to be successful. Some of the ones that we love the most, I mean, I say that is in some of our facilities like Dream Team Prosthetics. They moved here.
Right.
I know you've probably been to their facility
Uh-huh.
through Leadership Duncan.
Uh-huh.
And it's why do we like it so much is because they change people's lives. And it
Yes.
really pulls right at the heartstring when you can see that their specialty is double above knee amputees that they have back in walking and living a full life.
Mhm.
That it really does not set them back.
Yeah.
And so it to see that type of success, and for them, they chose our community because of being underserved, but at the same time, they have also said they really appreciate the partnership that we bring to the table because these folks are bringing people in from all over the world to our community to get refitted or to get initially fitted for prosthetics. And I mean, they can do below knee, they can do a single, but the specialty for them is a double above knee amputee.
Right. I mean, like you say, that absolutely changes a person's life. And it's just that is one of the heartfelt ones for sure.
It is, but diversification, everybody's kind of said that, and I'll hit on one of the fun ones that they've had to live through a pandemic, and that is our brewery.
Right.
So
right, yeah.
in the North Industrial Park, Kokendorfer, and the way that all kind of started, and so we were part of that. We gave them the land to build on, and it was really, for me, it was pretty easy. I know some folks were wondering, what are you doing? But and now if you go out there, I think folks enjoy it because it's a different quality of life that we did not have in the area.
Yeah.
And they've had to also pivot through this COVID timeframe too. But they came in the office and said, "Hey, we tried to do this in Oklahoma City. We had some issues with a piece of property that we thought the person owned it. They didn't actually own it, and we decided, hey, well, why can't we just do this in Duncan?" And it just hit me just at the right time. And I said, okay, well, here's what I can do. I mean, tell me what you're looking for. They laid out exactly what their desires were. And I said, I have a piece of property that fits exactly what you guys want. And I had to explain to them that because they are a manufacturer, okay, and you don't think of that, but you think, okay, and they're in the food manufacturing business or beverage manufacturing business. I said, you guys are going to have to be an industrial zone location. We have that property here. They said, we want trees. We want, all we need is about 5 acres. I think today they're probably saying we need about 15 or 20 acres, but it is an exciting opportunity for them. That the pivot they had to make was the canning. And so once they started that part of it, and they now have all their canning lines up and working, and it's a great deal.
Wow. Yeah, that's a very fun.
We have a question here.
Oh, okay.
From, Melanie wants to know, are there any people who can give ideas and or direction for a startup business?
We would just ask that those individuals come, schedule a meeting with us. Our telephone number is 580-255-9675, and they can visit with myself or Nicole.
Okay.
What was that? 580-255?
9675.
In the comments now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I was wondering about that too. So you and Nicole are the ones who go through all of the applications. You interview and counsel everyone
on the businesses that are wanting. Yes. And Nicole, she's been a wonderful support. I mean, of course, she came to us from IBC Bank, and she takes care of all the operations side and the property management side for us as well. So between the two of us, I mean, we will work with, and look, we'll also reach over and work with Red River Technology Center with Jacob Johnson, who he takes care of the small business as well. So we try to do as much of a collaborative partnership as we possibly can.
Right. But it's not like you're going to have to go meet a whole bunch of people.
No.
I mean, it's Lyle.
Yeah.
Basically who's going to be meeting with you about those things. And I think that's important for people to not feel like they're going to get the runaround or, have to talk to 10 different people to get through a process.
Right. Well, and before had come to Duncan, I was working at Meridian Technology Center in Stillwater inside the incubator as well. So that's kind of my background. Worked with farmers and ranchers in financial management for about 13 years as well. So
Right.
um, understand quite a bit about the business side of this.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay. So now that we kind of went backwards a little bit, let's come back. So this year you have been able to, you helped with the food banks.
Mhm.
You were able to give $5,000
Up to
up to
5,000
$5,000 a grant. Would
to,
you, is that
to
what you call it? To
businesses. Yeah.
businesses.
Yeah.
And you helped 131.
Mhm.
Okay. 131 individual
And
businesses here in the
it was a very
community.
unique situation for us. Normally that's something we don't get into that much. I mean, we stay focused on some other areas, but this was not a normal year.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
we felt like we had to get and jumpstart the economy again by helping those retail businesses get back to rolling again.
And I mean, you said it's a significant amount of money. Um, where does the foundation finances? Where does that
Where's
come
it come
from?
from? Well, it comes from all these years of, we have real estate, okay,
Uh-huh.
that we lease out to businesses, and
So
that
is
money can
income
come back.
generating.
Yeah, it can be an income generator for us to be able to be more self-sufficient. So we then take that money and build more buildings as we have the opportunity to do so. But we also have some dollars that are on the city side of this as well. So now it's a quarter cent sales tax that is held on behalf of DAEDF by the
Right.
city, then I'll request those dollars as I need
Okay.
to build a building or take care of some things that we do. So it's really a collaborative situation. We are a foundation, but we also have a profit side to what we do. I will tell you that the incubator is not a profit center. It's usually helping businesses get started in their incubator mode. Cost money just from the facility standpoint.
Right.
It's where they make their money is when they get outside of the incubator and they're able to be more self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So, and then through this, I mean, we've got several different properties, and those properties generate rental opportunities for us. But I'm also got, I have to do those at a market rate. I try not to ever get in the way of the private sector. If somebody's going to buy a piece of property, we stay out of it, or we don't build buildings that the private sector might build or have on their own. We try to support the private sector. It's when the private sector doesn't have that ability, then that's when we step in and say, okay, either this piece of property has been on the market way too long, we need to do something with it. We have a need, we have a business that wants to move into that, and we'll step into it and take the risk at that point in time.
Right.
So, and it does, I mean, we stay very closely focused to our mission.
So, what are some other, we also were the
Center for Excellence.
Center for Excellence in
Work.
all of Southern Oklahoma.
Yes.
So, and then what else? Keep bragging, man. DAEDF deserves a chance to brag today.
Well, we redid our website. We have the 360 videos. We've done some grants for some of our businesses that are helping them to flourish a little bit more. Let me see. The Department of Commerce came in here in September. We did community tours with our business community and Department of Commerce. Goodness gracious, there's a lot of things that we have really done this year that have been exceptional.
The race.
Oh,
the
yeah, our
racer?
CO2 car races, which we've been doing those for maybe 14 years.
Yeah, a long time. My kids participated in those races. Those were fun.
And the reason we started down those is it teaches STEM to the student and makes it fun and interactive. And yes, we did those this year as well. And at the same time, when I first came here, I looked around and I said, okay, we have, we are a huge CNC machining community. I mean, that means that, we have the lathes that are turning parts, whether they be at Halliburton or they be at Sensia or Right Way, Duncan Machine Products, Southern Machine Works. I mean, those companies need to have workforce. And so the idea was the CO2 cars are a way for kids to start making a car, understanding that they have to get dimensions dimensions correct and everything like that. And it's an engineering contest. And so I was trying to do a backfill of getting more and more machinists into, our workforce. And so
Right.
that's what that was all about.
Right. Well, it's certainly turned into a fun thing and
It is a fun
probably inspired some up and coming engineers.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, a lot of kids they love to participate in that.
You would, yes, they do. And particularly when they can see how fast they can send their car down the
Yeah.
track.
Yeah.
So this year, and it was kind of exciting because we've also moved into the junior high with this as well. We did that about 2014 or so. We went to the middle school, and we do it for all the Red River sending schools. So if you're in Red River School District, and that's the technology center here, then you can participate in this. And this year, the cars were able to, usually I would always say, well, if you're less than a second, you should make the finals. Well, that still is true. I mean, we're talking about getting down a track that is, maybe 65 yards
Yeah.
long in a second or less. This year, both the high school and middle school were 0.8.
Wow.
They were fast cars.
Wow.
Yes. So that tells you that the students have learned a lot, and they get judged on their engineering approaches as well.
Yeah.
So,
And it's fun to see their creativity. They make all kinds of great looking cars. So that's very fun.
yeah, and that's what you want. You want kids to have fun at this.
Yeah.
The other things we've always participated. I mean, so you heard STEM. We also helped whenever the Trails project was being launched a little bit, particularly toward the latter part. I can't take credit for the early parts, but when we got down to needing maybe some donors or assistance with getting those, and so the Chickasaw Nation and Halliburton were major donors to our Trails project here in our community too, and we played a role in that as well.
Right. And if you drive around the hospital down by Horace Mann or out here on Chisholm Trail Parkway, orange cones and orange flags are everywhere.
Yep.
It makes me think that sidewalk is going in.
Yes. And
so that trail,
hey,
we'll be glad when the bridge thing gets done over here right by us. Yeah, we're ready for that part be able to get done.
To me, it's creating a healthy community, and that's the reason the hospital is so heavily involved and engaged in this process. But it's also when you walk between the hospital and this center, you're walking in an area that you go, oh my word, I don't even feel like I'm in Duncan.
Right. Yeah. And there are people walking all the time. They walk past the front of the museum and you'll see people go by and they're headed for the trail or they're coming back off the trail. They have their dogs with them. I mean, it has really become quite a community gathering kind of place.
So that kind of brings us to the quality of life. As I am having to promote our community, I promote the museum or the history center. I promote the quality of life. I promote our school systems, other businesses that we have to show the quality of the workforce. There's just a lot of pieces that it's more than just trying to attract a business. You have to attract their workforce that is going to relocate or possibly could relocate here as well.
Right. Yeah, I can see that being especially, the middle school I know is always kind of one of those places that people, you want to show off a little bit, and the hospital, and then here's the Heritage Center, and then the trail all right together. Very, very, very good location, right? It's definitely, you can see it in that.
For us, we're having to say, look, we are, about 2 hours from DFW. We're an hour from Oklahoma City Airport. Got good transportation, for the most part, in all directions. While you sometimes wish, well, can I be on a major interstate? I can't move that or change that.
Right.
But we have a good, we have a good transportation system here. I think Family Dollar will tell you that it works very well for what and directions that they need to go to.
Yeah, and that's a big trucking in and out.
Well, and they serve a pretty good size. So a lot of our products from this Family Dollar go as far north as maybe Wyoming or all the way down to possibly Houston. So,
Yeah.
and over to Arkansas. So, I mean, they have a huge territory they cover too.
Yeah, you got to be able to get there. So that makes a lot of sense. So, Lyle, I can say without question that I feel like DAEDF is a very valuable, cog in the wheel that makes Duncan the successful community that it is. And so, like, what has been your favorite thing? You said you've been there since about 2006. Is that
Yes.
right? What's been your favorite, I don't know what, success story maybe, or I don't know what you would call it, but what's the thing that you, or maybe the thing that surprised you the most, or something about what you've done?
Duncan is, we have a huge history. I mean, we're very well known across the state for being one of those leading communities of economic development or progressiveness. Okay. There's been a lot of things that I think are unique here. We've got great people. We've got a lot of great assets. We have a huge and rich heritage here.
Right.
With the Chisholm Trail, and of course I grew up in the Enid area, so the Chisholm Trail is also up there too.
Yep.
But one of my greatest moments was when we had about 4 buildings going up at the same time, and I had tenants working toward getting in those. That was a huge demonstration to my board at that point in time and the community that yes, we can build lab buildings, and if we and be willing to take risk, that are calculated, because it wasn't an easy time. It wasn't like I had the idea, let's go do this. There were some challenges because people doubted what we could do. And today, I think the mayor would say that was a good move. He remembers very, very fondly, or very vivid. I mean, he was a council member and he was doubting that, what are you doing here? And to look at this today and say, look, we built 4 buildings almost within a year time frame. They're all basically have tenants in them, and one of them happens to be needing an additional building that we're going to build sometime after the first of the year. So, I mean, those are the great stories. And I can't just lean and say, what's the one?
Right.
It's really, each one of them has their own piece that helps the community as a whole. So we've got some great people here.
Right. Well, I think it's so great what DAEDF does. And, maybe you're not familiar with DAEDF, or maybe like I see our friend Stefan. Hey, Stefan. Stefan lives in Pennsylvania, I believe.
Moved to Oklahoma.
And, if you're not familiar with organizations like this, I mean, look into it, because they are so beneficial to a community. Duncan was just, I think, hung on to Halliburton for everything for so long. But I think that DAEDF has helped as a community for us to see that we can have Halliburton and it's not Halliburton or, it's Halliburton and of, plethora of other businesses that can be successful and support each other.
Yeah.
And I just think that is a great message.
Yeah. And the thing is, you have to have the right kind of buildings to be able to do this. But you have to have boards that are also saying, let's do it. And that's what it takes. And I've been very blessed with having a board that has been very progressive. And because my board changes every year with its members. So, and that's the other thing that's unique. We are a membership driven organization. We have about 70 members, and of those members, 9 of them are on the board. And so that changes every year. At least 3 of them are either up. So it's rotating, keeps you kind of in a new, new setting, but it also keeps some institutional knowledge out there too.
Right.
So, and you want to have a board that challenges you from time to time as well.
Absolutely.
You can't have status quo, but it is diversification, and that's key today.
Well, that's fantastic. Anything else you want to say?
No,
about
this has been fun.
Okay, Scott.
Can you talk a little bit about 2021? What do we have to look forward to? What kind of cool?
How are they going to top 2020? I mean, that's been a good year.
It's been a good year, but every year has been a good year. So I think where we're going to be seeing this next year, and I know that we are, because we started going down a little bit of a building pathway here. We're going to build about a 30,000 square foot facility for Platinum Group Metals, or PGM, to help accomplish what they want. I have 2 lab buildings that are about 6,000 square feet each, that are a model from the existing footprint that we have that has been very successful for us because they're half office, half shop area, climate controlled. And that seems to fit just about anybody's need as a business. So by us showing that we are continuing to invest into the community is a demonstration as to what we think the future really is for our community. And if you don't have it, if you don't have buildings available, you can't attract business to your community. And so that way we have something also to wrap around into a marketing plan as well. And I think that's what we have to continue to do as jointly is work the marketing of the area. And instead of being just Duncan, it is about this, the Southwest region of Oklahoma.
Right.
So we'll just
Bravo.
march forward. I mean, a lot of good things ahead of
Yeah,
us.
2021 sounds like a banner year is on the way.
We can only hope. We never know what's coming at us,
We
right?
never know. We learned that
But
this year.
here's the deal.
didn't
You learn to pivot and you learn to adjust,
Mhm.
and those who can pivot and adjust will survive.
we? Right. That's exactly right. Yeah, I'm going to say that's kind of how we've done business around here at the Heritage Center. Can't just stay the same old, same old.
No.
Just be ready to do some changing.
Mhm.
Well, I think that's probably all for us for today. So when we sign off, we say happy trails together, and we'll get Stefan. You want to unmute Stefan, or we'll unmute you? And there you go. He's off. Okay. So on 3, we'll just say happy trails.
All right.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Happy
Happy
trails.
trails.
Bye.